I think Olavi introduced the subject extremely well. I believe we are indeed in a critical moment of change. We are there in the society, we are there in the business. The attempt that we should be doing together is to see how we can contribute to this shift. We as a community, as an extended community, we as individuals, and we as workers and employed. We are moving to a new paradigm, which we are finding a word for, but the natural thing for us was from concurrent engineering to concurrent enterprising to concurrent innovation. Why? What's happening? Last year, you might remember, those of you that were in Munich, Bosch made a presentation. Bosch is an excellent company. They have an extremely high number of patents, and their workforce is extremely talented, motivated, and Bosch is giving innovative products to the market. Perfect? No. Bosch said it's not enough. Bosch said it's not enough. We are at the limit of finding ways of improving, of getting better. This is what the paradigm shift is. You reach a limit of the practices you have under some current assumptions, mental assumptions you are making, and technological availability, and you reach a limit. And it's becoming more and more tougher to improve if you stay in the cage of the current paradigm. So what we need is a Copernican revolution. We need to break out of the borders that we created in our mind and with our technology, and find a new open space where open innovation can be made possible. And we are thinking there is one way. There is one way which is based on the assumption that we must create a Leonardo brain. We must create a Leonardo brain in the society, and having the ability of connecting the multidisciplinary, the technology, the societal needs, all in one huge brain. So concurrent innovation is also collective intelligence. This is the initial definition, but I invite all of you, because this should be our work together, to contribute. We have written now an initial white paper, is available on ESOCENET site, on the AMI community, on VA Forum, and you can download it and work on it, contribute on it. What I'd like is to have a kind of collective manifesto created on these ideas that we can develop together. For the moment being, the concurrent innovation is proposed as a systematic approach for managing innovation cycles, from the generation of ideas to the large deployment of new product services, activating the full potential of the collective intelligence of collaborating individuals. Product process organization. We introduced the PSO paradigm as a concurrent enterprise, you remember, product service organization. Now we are adding an I. What's happening in the business environment? There are new emerging forms, because we will need new emerging business entities if we are going to want to be able to apply and to live into this new intelligent environment. So these emerging entities are the virtual enterprise networks, the professional communities, and the living labs. The living labs is one of the latest okay, initiatives that we are working together for, and I believe they do make a big difference. We need these emerging entities to be able to actually, achieve this and enact these strategic elements for development. Human potential, extensive view collaborative working, innovation mechanisms based on new interaction patterns from people, and fully deploy the potential of ICT. Sometimes people are here, they say, well, yes, ICT is very advanced, we got many things. Have we changed anything? Are we really doing any better? I simply think that we're not seeing anything yet. Even though the transformation is enacted, the power of ICT is going to be tremendous. It is going to change, really, the way we live. It is going to change the way we live in the home, with our kids. If we ever go to work again, maybe we don't. Maybe we have really an environment that talks to us, that contextualizes the information we need, that gives us the health support we need, that solves the real societal problems. So the full potential of ICT has not been deployed, and this is what we aim to do. In 3 steps, I will try to characterize what concurrent innovation is. The first element of the business scientist is these professional virtual communities with an explicit business orientation. This is very important to understand. We've also introduced 3 elements. Looks like everything that is able to be captured by every mind is 3. And when I was explaining it at the beginning, I was still difficult, so I said I had colors. So we have 3 colors. The social is symbolized by red. I discovered that red is the first color that humanity invented. When they wanted to say, this must be a color, they said red. And then blue for knowledge and green for business. Now, the community of practice, and if you like, our community, is working on the social knowledge, side of the triangle. There is knowledge flow, there are social relationship, networking. However, the ability of any one of us to actually, dedicate the intellectual power in the community is limited. Is limited because everybody of us must have also a source of income. Now, the very simple concept here is to make explicit and feasible in community of individuals to explicitly pursue business, which is nothing to be, ashamed of in the communities. This is also true, as Peter was observing yesterday, even for network of companies. They tend, and was a comment in one of our workshops, they tend to, yes, we network, looks like we are doing it for business, but then the actual way of doing the business is unclear. The impact in business is limited. The models for actually doing that business element are not there. So we have developed a concept, methodologies and processes and business models to actually create communities which are professional communities. But there is also an additional very important element, the Leonardo syndrome. We say the professional community is formed by individuals, which can belong to large companies, to SMEs, they will belong to university, and they will belong to research centers. They may also be freelancers, consultants, or retired persons. We believe that you need to have diversity in the same community if you are going to be able to have this innovative collective intelligence power. And someone said it would be also good to have the 3 generations all together. So kids are not here yet in this picture, But maybe, following our friend Ikoako's suggestion, we should also include kids in our community. This community will actually sell services. So it's not there just to exchange knowledge and have fantastic relationships. So a customer appears, and we assemble the virtual team, selecting the best team you can get out of this community to actually provide services to the customer. And this is how the community becomes sustainable. Because we are still in an economic world, competitive world, so you still have to have clear mechanisms that make sustainable your entity. The good news is that we are actually building these communities in real business settings today, and we hope that we can prove that this association of individuals identified by specific knowledge actually do make business. The way people interact is going to be more and more mediated by ICT. But we still think you must always be aware of an interaction which is physical. Because our communication is an integrated body-mind communication. That's the way we are. There is no mind and the body. And then the next step, you remember 3 business entities. The next step is the network of companies. This has been booming in Europe. Slovenia case, the government strongly believed this policy. They financed 29 networks to be created in Slovenia. They were very early in doing this. And too bad, some of them, most of them, I'd say, are not reaching the expectations. Are not reaching the expectation because first, the business model and the business measure are not explicit, even at organizational company level. But secondly, I believe, because the activity resides in the human individuals. So you must find a way to power this engine, this car of the network. And the empowerment of the network is obtained by superimposing a community of individuals, the community I showed you before, in which there are people that belong to the network, but also people external to the network. Diversity. Diversity as a strategic proposition to be made at all levels: companies, society, and communities. Here again, there is a nice move of how we make money. There is a client coming, a subnet of the network company is formed. So we call this virtual organization. We select the appropriate companies to be able to answer the client request. Normally, this is the end of it. We are saying, no, at the same time, you create a virtual team out of the individuals of the virtual community, which supports and integrates itself in the virtual organization, and the money we did not show anyway. So let's come now to the third element, which really accomplishes the transition. And now imagine a region like we have. We went to visit in Finland, Arabia-Ranta, and many other places, in Bremen. And now take a look at what a region is from the perspective of a living lab scenario. In this sense, a living lab is a community anyway, okay? It's a networked community in a region. So what have you got in a region? Well, you will have, first of all, some specialized, you see the network company, knowledge in that region. So what are we doing here? We are doing services, mobile technologies, some kind of an area that has some knowledge and the companies rooted in the region. And then you have, of course, the social community around it. And so you have, in this case, a social setting. You know, there is even a church, etc. Now, what happens if you really want to enact this scenario is that you have to integrate the concepts. So, you must create virtual professional communities based on the paradigm I told you. And these virtual professional communities now create the connectivity, the brain, the neurons, to develop knowledge. And here, in this setting, is where the living lab community is created. Here, now we are saying the citizens, the individuals, the normal people of the region get involved, not the professional alone. There is no way in which Nokia says you can get any innovation if you get your best Nokian engineers, 250 of them, whatever it is, you put them somewhere, tell them, you know, give me an innovation. No way. It's not that the right way. So we must extend the concept of diversity to unstructured knowledge. The people of the street. We must get the population mobilized for innovation. Europe will win the game if we mobilize the population of Europe for innovation. How do we do that? We form communities for them. We form communities which are entangled, as you see, with the professionals. So the citizens will have access and talk to experts, ICT developers, procurement persons. Because in this picture, we must have a public-private citizen partnership. If you want to solve a real problem, say the healthcare, well-being, old people,